Hi, I'm Rich Steptoe. I've been a builder and installing decks for more than 20 years. Over that time, I've seen a lot of changes, but probably none more dramatic than the introduction of UFO Ballistic NailScrew and Tyrex-Senko's new screw. The UFO Composite Ballistic NailScrew installs with the speed of a nail, using a pneumatic nailer, yet it has the strength and the look of a screw. I'd say the best of both worlds. Today, I use nail screws exclusively on all our decks, and I believe it's one of the main reasons for our success. The reason is simple. I can save up to 70% on my labor versus using regular screws, and I still provide my customer with all the long-range benefits of a screw assembly. The sooner you can complete a quality job, the faster you can move on to the next one. And as you know, that's how you make it in this business. Nail screws allow me to do a quality job fast, real fast, which means I make more money than my competition. But seeing is believing, so let me show you what I'm talking about. For demonstration purposes, I'll be working with a 6-foot by 6-foot deck surface using Trex composite decking. The two flavors we'll be using today are Saddle Accent and Madeira Contours. First, let's start by reviewing our equipment. We'll need a full round head plastic strip 20-degree framing nailer, or UFO's specially designed nail screwdriver. As you can see, I'm using the UFO nail screwdriver. Whichever model you choose, a flush drive option on the tool will help you give the deck a great look. Also, either coil nailers or strip nailers can be used, unless you are using colored head nail screws. In this case, only strip nailers can be used. Make sure the sequential fire is installed so you don't double fire. To keep from scratching the deck material, add the no mar tip that comes with the nail screwdriver. You'll need a dedicated air compressor with 120 pounds of consistent pressure at the tool. Consistent pressure is important because too little or too much will not set the nail screw properly. Adjust the compressor's pressure switch to stay within a 10-pound range. You can always back down the pressure as needed, depending on the temperature and the composite density. Or just use a flush drive adjustment screw found right in front of the trigger on the nail screwdriver. Use a 3/8 compressor hose, as short as possible. 25 feet is best, but make sure it's no longer than 50 feet. For best results, use a surge tank as close to the tool as possible. The first thing you should do before nailing your decking down is to gather a few scrap boards and test fire your nail screw gun to make any depth adjustments. And my #1 rule for building decks, always wear eye protection. You can see I have a couple high nails, so based on the temperature, time of day, and the product, you may have to adjust yourself down. Now that I've made the necessary adjustments, I'd like to make a point to the sales team. The best demonstration that we've found for customers is using a 6x6 with 4 pieces of Trex decking. When demonstrating, keep the nail patterns neat, as if it would be on a finished deck. Now, what do you say? Let's build a deck. If you work all year round in cold climates below 40 degrees, a helpful tip is to tack all your boards down and wait a couple hours for the sun to warm up the boards, just like it would with a bunch of shingles. Listen to the compressor. If you begin to get ahead of the airflow, slow down. Count to 5, letting it build up again. Consistent airflow will keep you running without delaying your production. Inconsistent airflow, or not in your joists, can cause a high nail screw. To remedy that, you can use a hammer or a screw gun. Oh, ran out of nails. What am I going to do? Real simple. Just tear a nail right off of the stick. Put it right in the center. And it goes. For a nail that continues to spin and you can't get it out, just use your hammer, a little bit of pressure. Out she comes. Wow, that was fast. Glad I used nail screws. Here are a few final tips for review. Begin with multiple test runs with scraps before starting. Drive the nail screws perpendicular to the decking surface. Constant airflow will assure speed of application. Proper installation will reduce mushrooming. If a nail screw is not driven in completely or set properly, you can follow up with a hammer or a screw gun. It's all about hand, eye, and ear coordination. For example, when you hear the compressor switch on, hesitate long enough for the pressure to build back up again. Tips for removing nail screws. Use a low RPM cordless impact driver. Start slow to avoid stripping the wood fibers. You can back the nail screw out part way, then reinsert with an impact driver or a hammer. You can remove nail screws manually and install new ones. With nail screws, you are always able to easily remove a decking board and reinstall it. There you go, the composite ballistic nail screw. Drive them in, screw them out. Easy as nails, tough as screws. Of course, nail screws are corrosion ACQ resistant with PT2000, and they're available in special formulated colors to match Trex finishes. With nail screws, you'll save time and increase your output from day one. And the folks at UFO and Tyrett Senko will even send you a free sample. Just call them at toll-free at 1-888-377-0028 or go to their website at www.911-nails.com. On the website, you'll also find extensive facts, figures, and research data on nail screws, as well as all other types of nail screws available, like for wall boards, subfloors, pallets, crating, manufactured home, roof decking, and light gauge metal. You'll be amazed. Personally, I recommend nail screws for every deck job, whether composite boards or treated lumber. But if you decide not to use nail screws, just remember this. In the same time you're finishing your first deck, I'll be starting my third. I'm Steptoe. Thanks for watching.